Okay, I'll carry on. The next part is the okay to play. So this is what Cricket Victoria has actually released. Cricket Victoria, has released. It's sort of just the O and the K just stands for things that we've all just got to be mindful of while we're playing cricket. And specifically, I'll go through the match day conditions, which there are a few of. So bear with me. There's a bit. So it'll be a lot of just reading, but there will be time at the end to ask some questions. So hopefully it'll all make some sense. And hopefully, like I say, this will be just these couple of weeks that we've got to deal with these strict conditions, and then they'll ease up, and the timing of sanitizing and stuff like that should ease a bit as we progress through the season. So the really important thing, I guess, to remember is that the more we do now to ease back into it, the longer we're likely to be able to play for. You know, if we rush back in and don't sanitize and, don't follow the rules and the hygiene protocols and things like that, there's more chance of us getting sick, and then the club or the competition or both getting shut down. So we all play a role in that. So please do, if you have any questions, ask myself or any of the committee or our COVID team, which you'll see signs up around the club as to who they are, and there'll be a mobile phone number and an email address so you can approach those. There'll be one in each team, as well as the captains and, as I said, committee. So there's a few of us around that you'll be able to ask questions. So that also said, please, all of you that are in those positions, make sure you do read everything just one extra time so you've got an extra understanding of it as well. Alrighty, so refresher on the current rules. Check in and check out. So there'll be signs everywhere. Everyone needs to check in and check out. We need to know exactly who is at the ground. And this applies to all grounds. So whether we're at home or playing away, we must check in and check out. Bring your own food and drink to training and games. There is no sharing. So that's your own drink bottle and your own food. So it's not a packet of chips that you share with someone. It's literally your food. Masks always to be worn, except for those under 12 and if you're actively playing. So which means batting, bowling or fielding. So basically if you're on the field, you don't need to wear it. You can if you want to while you're fielding, but you don't have to. The umpires will be. When you're off the field, spectating or waiting to bat, you must be wearing your mask. Everyone needs to maintain their 1.5 metre distance. This is, again, just to, stop potential spreading. Just don't be too close. If someone stands too close to you, ask them politely to move back or move back yourself. Just maintain that always. Now, importantly, the groups at training, we're doing this so that if someone is asked to isolate, sorry, my door just opened. If one member of a group is asked to isolate, if we can identify that group has not mixed with any other group during any training session or anything during that night, then the likelihood is that group alone will be able to just isolate rather than us locking down the whole club. So, it is important. And I know everyone wants to just get back and talk to everyone and be around everyone. But if we can just sort of do it from a distance and 10 metres if you're in a different group, maintain that separation between the groups and just keep on top of that. All games, wherever you are. Cool. All the drills need to also make sure that the 1.5 metre distance can be maintained. Please RSVP on Team App. So it's really important that we are able to identify these groups, and you are all responsible for your RSVP. Don't leave it up to us to ask you if you're coming. Please, if you're in a group, you'll be able to visibly see that group on Team App. Please RSVP. That means saying yes, that you can come, or no, that you can't come. So both are equally important, because if there's only going to end up being 3 people training on Tuesday night in a particular group, then it means that we can either free it up for other people to come, or we need to mix up and add more people to that group. So please do that. We've used TeamMap for a number of years. If you don't know what it is, please ask. Email Cam, secretary at ebhcc.com, or ask any committee or ask any current player. They should have it and know about it. So sharing of personal equipment is strictly limited. Sanitize. Everything just needs to be sanitized often. All attendees to refrain from spitting, nasal clearing, and shall not use sweat or saliva on the balls. Just be mindful of, I understand that, when you're doing strenuous exercise, it may be easy to want to clear things, but please just be mindful and try not to. Don't touch anyone else's equipment or clothing. No high fives, handshakes, or fist bumps. Across to the right here, this is the player commitment that is within our COVID plan. So if you haven't read the COVID plan, or you haven't got access to a copy, 1, you could ask Cam. 2, there's a copy on Breadcrumbs. So whenever you log in or check into Howard Wilson Oval, there is a copy of the COVID plan on there, so you can review it. This is the commitment that we've asked every player to commit to. I will wear a face mask at all times. I will check in on arrival and check out. When leaving, I will wash my hands and use the sanitizer regularly. I will maintain 1.5 meters from others at all times and stick to any training group size limits. And I will encourage others to follow the COVID-19 requirements. So those are all the I wills. And I will not attend any cricket activity if unwell. I will not share communal food or drinks. I will not share personal equipment with others unless it has been cleaned before and after use. And I will not spit or put sweat or saliva on the ball. So that's where we currently stand at training. Okie dokie. This is the sign that you've seen everywhere. So if you don't have the app, can't download the app, use the QR code. A very similar QR code poster will be available at Trinity for when we are hosting at Hughes 2. So there will be a couple of posters available. So that's available for all players in the home team plus the away team, just to make sure everyone checks into there. Again, you can use one breadcrumb there, but there are options. So there's really no excuse for not signing in. There will also be a manual document that you can sign into as well if you don't have a phone or don't want to check in like that. We still need to track you, so it still will be done manually. Right, after the announcements on Sunday, Cricket Victoria has updated the roadmap. So this is where we're at now, the Metro and Regional Step 3. So we're in the group sizes of 11 based on team size. Members of the general public are allowed to be at the venue on match day. We're just not encouraging spectators at the moment. While they're allowed to be there, just for at least the next couple of weeks, it's not like, yeah, everyone come down. It's just, if you can, just stay away for just, a couple of games. Communal change rooms, canteen showers and toilets can be open. Like I said, hopefully for us, that will mean next week. Access to school facilities, which has cost us a lot of grounds across the association, is, and it doesn't really apply when we're at Hughes 2 anyway, because there are no facilities there. Equipment sharing is okay, subject to cleaning. And the important one here, I don't think was on it in the first place, is the minimised travel with someone you don't live with. So if you are needing to travel to a game and you're needing to travel with someone that's not from your household, make sure you are sanitising your hands, sanitising the door handle, wearing a face mask, just use all the precautions that you can, just while you're in that confined space with the person that you don't live with. Where possible, someone that you do live with will be driving you to your games. Okay, so okay to play. this is what Cricket Victoria have released, is just a one-page sort of snapshot of things to be mindful for. So to help ensure the safety of all, the following guidance must be followed by all attendees. So on arrival, everyone, including spectators, must check in. This helps with contact tracing should a case occur. If you are showing any COVID signs before or during the match, stay away from anyone else, seek medical support or return home immediately. Only return to cricket when recovered. So there are new questions on One Breadcrumb that are asking you to answer. Please read them and don't just automatically try and tick through. It's I've got a couple of emails to say that a couple of people had COVID, so just be a little bit mindful when you read those. Don't do an auto tick, tick, tick. On arrival, use the available sanitizer. On arrival, only start and continue the match if it is safe to do so. So all COVID-19 practices can be adhered to and normal risk safety assessment has been carried out. Okay, keep hygiene front of mind. So keep your distance from others, 1.5 metres at all times, on field and off field. Spectators and scorers shall always remain 1.5 metres away from others. Players avoid team huddles, high fives, and minimise time fielding close to umpires or other players. Keep your mask on, except for those under 12. Keep use of facilities to a minimum, e.g. toilet and canteen access only. So what we went through today was that, the rooms may be able to be opened, but what will happen is that the players might just be allowed to leave their bags inside. So it's not for sitting in there and just being inside the rooms. It's you go in, put your bag down and come straight back out, or go in, get changed, come back out, go in, go to the toilet, come back out. So indoor spaces are just literally thoroughfares at the moment. If you're going through it to get somewhere else, that's fine, but don't hover in the inside areas. Keep cash in your pocket. Use contactless payment wherever possible. So when we do open up the canteen, we will be requesting that everyone uses contactless where possible. Keep your hygiene practices up. So this is a really important one. Players and umpires must sanitize their hands every 10 overs, and everyone must ensure regular hand washing, no spitting, no sweat, saliva on the ball, etc. So the next O, only touch your own gear, food and drink. Do not touch anyone else's equipment or clothing, including the bowler's cap, jumper, etc. So if you're the bowler, you have the choice of putting your own jumper cap over the boundary, which is going to be quite time consuming. So, sorry, just letting Sunny in. Or you can leave it behind the keeper, or the quickest place would be behind the umpire at the bowler's end. The other option here is also to leave it at the top of your runner. So just be mindful that it's, condensed in a small section, so it's not actually going to impact any of the game. No communal food or drink, BYO from or buy from the canteen, sorry. Only players should touch the match ball. So the ball is to be cleaned with an anti-alcohol, antibacterial wipe spray every 10 overs. Yes, Ken. Or Ken can bowl with his cap on. The ball is then cleaned every 10 overs and immediately after being touched by anyone other than a player. So if the umpire happens to be throwing the ball and they catch it, it's got to be cleaned. So this is the captain's responsibility. The captain will be cleaning the ball if anyone other than the 11 players on the fielding side touch that ball. It goes over the fence or the umpire, whatever, it's got to be cleaned. Keep an open mind. Keeping an open mind is important because things are obviously different to normal. In 2021, cricket will look different to cricket you see on TV. I know we've said this before, but the cricketers on TV are playing in a bubble, the same as footy players. They're all in a bubble. Everything's different for them. So for us, everything's a little bit different and it will take longer. As it says here, these practices will help keep you, your friends, family, and the community safe. Remember, cricket in a pandemic is a privilege, not a right. Get in, play, get out. Cool. All right, so let's move on to, I might just have a quick little drink. All right. We'll move on to the match day conditions. Alrighty, so Victorian government and the DHHS restrictions compliance. All people involved in cricket must always comply with directions from the state government. So that's the overriding rules here. All of these rules and conditions are endorsed by Cricket Victoria as required practices based on the current information from the Victorian state government, together with guidance from Cricket Australia. So they've been fully endorsed by the VCCL, VMCU, VSDCA. Affiliated associations are required to use these match day conditions. They are for the 2021 season only and are to be read in conjunction with our association rules and the laws of cricket in general. Where there's a conflict, these rules are said to take precedence. So we haven't actually had, I don't believe to date, had any specific guidance from the association as to what, if they're going to have any stricter rules or any other rules that are going to apply aside from these ones that we're going to go through. So everything that we go through here are the rules that stand for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the following Friday, Saturday. Please read these again when they come around tomorrow. Just make sure that you are across them. When we go through them, think, for those of you that played or were at the game on Saturday, just have a think about all of the things that we may not necessarily have done correctly, and try and remember those so that we do them in the right way when we do play on the weekend. Where we have paid umpires, these guys are obviously going to help us on match day, but you know, for juniors, this is going to be parents. For down the grades, this is going to be your co-players. So we all need to understand them so that we can help each other out. All right. Physical social distance and face masks off field. Everyone attending cricket matches, players, volunteers, umpires, spectators, scorers, canteen staff are to keep 1.5 metre distance from others at all times before, during, and post match. Those over 12 are also required to wear a face mask, as we have said. On field, players and umpires shall not gather within 1.5 metres before and after play, during any breaks, following wickets, and shall minimise any time spent within 1.5 metres of another person whilst play is underway. Umpires are required to wear a face mask, so this may be reviewed. This is one of the things that might be reviewed in the next week or so. As I said earlier, wearing masks for players is optional. Rightio, match equipment. Anyone touching match day equipment must sanitise their hands when setting up and packing down. Items shall be cleaned with an alcohol-based antibacterial wipe or spray. Minimum 70% alcohol before being touched. Match day items include the obvious stumps, boundary cones, tables, chairs for scorers, scorebooks, etc. Coin toss. So doesn't necessarily mean a coin, but whoever supplies the coin before the start of play shall toss the coin and pick up the coin. Nobody else touches it. This should ideally be the umpire. So if the umpire doesn't have a coin in his pocket, the clubs will improvise and not hold up the game. You'll do what you do in whatever grade you play. So, you know, in a nutshell, whoever touches it is the only one that touches it. Okay, personal equipment. So carrying on from that is that, you know, this goes for all personal equipment. So whether it be your cricket equipment, pads, gloves, helmet and bat, it's discouraged from being shared. If it is, however, necessary to share it, the first person using the equipment shall sanitise their hands and wipe or spray the item with a minimum 70% alcohol. The person then borrowing the equipment shall sanitize their hands before use and clean after use. All player kit bags are to be stored at least 1.5 meters apart from any other player bags. So person or bag, the 1.5 meter distance stands. No items worn by a player shall be touched by another person unless that item is cleaned first. So this includes any items that a bowler takes off to bowl their over, e.g. jumpers, sunglasses or cap. These items are not to be held by an umpire or given to another player or person and are to be placed by the bowler themselves at the nearest of the following 3 locations: over the boundary at any point, or at a point at least 3 meters behind the keeper in line with the stumps, or at a point at least 3 meters behind the umpire at the bowler's end in line with the stumps, e.g. at the top of run-up. When an item is left on the field behind the stumps, they should be placed so they are no wider than the width of the stumps. If struck, the ball is declared a dead ball and re-bowled, except for helmets and fielding equipment, for which the normal penalties do apply. Okay, match ball. No sweat or saliva shall be placed on the ball by anyone at any time. There's separate procedures will be established by the association to address any accidental or incidental cases of this. I will go through in a couple of slides what those potentially will be. The umpire shall not touch the ball at any stage. This includes where players or parents are umpiring. Whenever you're in that position of being the umpire, you cannot, take part in the game. You cannot touch the ball. Where it is necessary to touch the ball to inspect it, the umpire shall immediately sanitize their hands before and after inspection, or wear disposable gloves and dispose of them immediately after use. The ball should be cleaned with an alcohol-based antibacterial wipe or spray with the minimum 70% alcohol content after the completion of every 10 overs at scheduled breaks. So this is only going to be drinks really for us. So this is lunch or afternoon tea. We're playing all one-day cricket, so there is no lunch break. It'll be a change of innings. And if the ball has been touched by hand by any off-field person, spectator, coach, parents, etc. If a wicket falls during an over when a break was planned, the ball shall be cleaned immediately. This shall be completed by the bowling team captain or any other designated player if the captain is a keeper inside of the central umpire and or junior coaches. Wipes spray may be held by the umpire captain or be left with the scorers as agreed by competing teams, but shall be disposed of immediately or placed in a secure Ziploc bag until the next break. After a wicket, the ball should be left next to the stumps at the bowling end for the next delivery and be collected by the bowler when getting ready to bowl the next ball. During each scheduled break, the ball should not be touched by anyone. It may be placed in a Ziploc bag or put in a box and held to ensure security. Okay, hand sanitizer. All attendees shall sanitize their hands upon arrival at the ground. What we do need to do at home is make that more accessible and closer to the entrance. So I think once we get access to some tables and things, we'll actually have a station so that as you walk in, there'll be items there that you can actually use. All players, umpires and officials, including scorers and coaches, shall also sanitize their hands every 10 overs. This can be at the fall of a wicket in the designated over. So what has worked in the country, so we're kind of lucky in that there has been actually some games played in regional Victoria. So what they've suggested is that the batting side have, 2 bottles of sanitizer and they are prepared to run out onto the ground with these 2 bottles at the 10 over interval, so that, one can approach half the side and the other can approach the other half and just spray everyone's hands and then run off. That's what's worked, has been the quickest option. So with all of these breaks, you can see how it's going to be a lot easier to make the game drag out. So the quicker that we can do these is going to be obviously better to get the game over sooner, because what they have actually said is that games have actually gone close to 8 p.m. So the quicker that we can get these things done every 10 overs, or if there's a fall of a wicket in that over, then, you know, the game's going to keep moving. So just be mindful of that. And if you think there's a better way to do it, then, you know, by all means implement that. But this is, as I said, worked in the country so that the people that are sitting off the field waiting need to be ready at that 10 over mark to just come out, because your other option is just to leave it off the side of the field and have someone run off and get it, which is less than ideal. All right, so no communal food or drinks. So no afternoon teas being provided or communal food is being provided by any clubs or any players. Players and officials shall either bring their own personal drinks or food or purchase at any available canteen or kiosk. So for most of the places, at least at home ground this weekend, that'll be bringing all of your own stuff, whether it's at Howard Wilson or Trinity. So any food that's brought to the match should be in a sealed or pre-packaged container. Okay, on to team sheets and scoring. This season, there will be no physical swapping of team sheets. What they are recommending is that every club select all their sides by 4 p.m. on the Friday so that they're all there ready to go on the Saturday, or for the junior matches on the Friday night and the junior matches on the Saturday morning. So it's selected for the weekend. So whenever you turn up at a match, you're aware of who the players are going to be that you're facing. If they do change, they can be filled out and remain in the scorebook with a photo taken. And that's how you swap it that way. Scorers shall maintain a 1.5 metre distance at all times. Any equipment that's used where it's shared, okay, shall be wiped with an alcohol-based antibacterial with minimum 70% alcohol before its use and each time a new score is acquired. So this is going to, you know, require some thought by the captains as to batting order and who you've got sitting on the scorebook, and then how organised you can be about changing those over. Obviously, you can't plan for wickets and the like, but you just be mindful that there is a bit of cleaning that's got to go on between each person swapping over, so that potentially could slow down the game as well. So just watch out for that. Okay, on to sweat and or saliva on the ball. If sweat and or saliva is placed on the ball, there is a sweat and or saliva playing conditions document. We'll make that available in each scorebook. The association haven't released any rules around this. It was suggested that they should be, but we are yet to see those. It may be on the website. I haven't actually looked. So the following is what has been endorsed by Cricket Victoria. So at no stage should any participant intentionally place sweat and or saliva on the cricket ball for any purpose. The umpires must monitor whether sweat and or saliva is intentionally placed on the cricket ball for any purpose, and the umpires must not allow the match to continue during any period after which sweat and or saliva has been deliberately placed on the cricket ball without the following cleaning direction first. So definitions. Intentional means when a participant aware of the playing conditions willfully places saliva and or sweat on the ball for the purpose of gaining an advantage in gameplay, or unintentional where a participant accidentally places saliva and or sweat on the ball with no underlying intention to gain advantage in gameplay. For example, if a fielder habitually licks or his or her fingers before the ball is delivered as a matter of routine. So this is up to the umpires to determine that. All right, so enforcement procedures. So where it's unintentional, if it's of the opinion of the umpire that sweat and or saliva has been unintentionally placed on the ball, they may apply the following enforcement procedures. The umpire shall call time if necessary. The umpire shall summon and inform the offending player's captain of his/her unintentional breach of playing condition A. The umpires may choose to enforce any one of the following penalties. The umpire shall deliver a first and final warning to the captain. The umpire shall award 5 penalty runs to the batting team. The umpire, if they feel that health and safety has been compromised to such an extent that players become dangerous, they may actually choose to abandon the match. The umpires will direct the fielding captain to carry out the cleaning direction on the ball before resuming play. So this is important because, you know, obviously some grades we've got umpires, but others, this is down to you guys. All right, enforcement procedure B, intentional placement of sweat and or saliva on the ball. If it is the opinion of the umpire that sweat and or saliva has been intentionally placed on the ball, they may apply the following enforcement procedures. The umpire shall call time. The umpire shall summon and inform the offending player's captain of his or her intentional breach of the playing condition. The umpires may choose to enforce first and final warning, 5 penalty runs, or again, choose to abandon the match. The umpires will direct the fielding captain to clean, and if they deem it necessary, can actually report the occurrence to the executive of the offending player's team and to the governing body responsible for the match, who shall take such further action against the player, the captain, and any other individuals concerned, and if appropriate, the team. So there's a little bit of a workflow here. Has it been placed on the ball? Yes. Was it intentional? Was it not? You either use enforcement procedure A or enforcement procedure B. Cool. So that's all the match day protocols. Pretty easy, right? Just cleaning, sanitizing. Just be mindful that, you know, it is going to take longer. So, you know, the quickest way that you can do all of these things and remain compliant, the better, and work together to do it. Don't just leave it up to one person and have one person constantly, you know, asking, sanitize your hands and, you know, follow everything. Take responsibility for yourself and make sure you understand what needs to happen, and then you can help as well. All right, so just one last quick reminder of health and hygiene. I won't go through all of these, but don't attend if you're not well. Wash your hands, sanitize. No high fives, shaking hands, fist bumping. You know, avoid coughing, clearing your nose, spitting. Wash your clothes as soon as you can when you get home. No sharing of personal items such as water bottles, food, towels. Share equipment only when you have to do it, and make sure it's cleaned. Every 30-40 minutes, which is what we haven't actually been doing at training, making sure that we are, after that half an hour or so, sanitizing hands. As soon as you come off, wear your face mask. All cricket balls need to be cleaned. So you get to training early, check out what needs to be cleaned so that you can use it for training. Don't just stand around, help out. Entry and exit points and touch points should always be cleaned between sessions. So this is just a quick reminder. So in regards to the image on the left, which is the training groups, there has actually been a change in this. So we can actually have up to 6 groups on the oval and 1 in the nets. So what has changed is that rather than there being 100 meters between groups, it was reduced to 10. So, you know, we could have, you know, 4 groups of 10 out on the oval and a group of 10, or they can be 11, sorry, and a group in the nets. So, you know, we could have 55 people training tomorrow night, but I won't know unless you RSVP. All right, so quick go through of the training process, just to remind you again. Just pack your stuff, come dressed, make sure you've got your mask, confirm on Team App which group you're in. These may change, so just double check. You'll only see the group that you're in, so just double check Team App when you get there so you know where to report. Put your mask on, maintain your 1.5 metre distance, complete check-in Apply your sanitizer. If anyone's there asking for something, if Dave wants to know that you're here, make sure you let him know that you're there. If you're arriving late, just double check to make sure you're heading to the right group or where your group might be, because it may have changed. During training, stay with your group all night. Just don't mix. Wear your mask if you're not bowling, batting or fielding. So if you're just stopping, sitting around, just pop your mask on. Maintain your 1.5 metre distance. Again, no high fives or handshakes. Sanitizer every 30 to 40 minutes. After training, if you have your own ball, sanitize it before popping it in your kit bag. Make sure you got your mask on. Until we can open up, just head straight off. Once your group's finished, head off. This applies tomorrow night as well. Oops, sorry, going backwards. I just need to make sure I don't go too far. There's no shower facilities, so even when we do open up, there will be no showering at the rooms. And make sure you check Team App for updates. So there you go. That's that. I'm going to just pause for a second and ask Cam to unmute himself, because we're just going to move to a special announcement and then we'll open it up to questions if anyone has them. Sorry.
Yep. Right.
Yep.
Yep. Hi, everyone. As you all know, during the off season, we had 4 of our members pass, 2 life members and 2 members. And we've been, as a committee, we've been thinking about ways to, sort of honour those people, because obviously there was no funerals. We couldn't go to a funeral and celebrate, or we couldn't have anything at the club just yet. We will when we can have something. But for the moment, what we plan on doing for season 2021 is for the year, we're going to name the 4 sides. So we'll have will be called the Mick Newey first 11, the Jack Gibson second 11, the Steve Law third 11, and the Sean Furman fourth 11. So for the whole season, whenever we mention the teams, whenever your teams are picked, all that sort of stuff, it'll all be written as that. It's just a little something we wanted to do, because we couldn't celebrate the way we all wanted to celebrate their lives. But we'll also do, the black armband, stuff like that. We're in discussions about what we're doing with that at the moment. And also when we have something, we'll definitely have a celebration of their lives as soon as we can. But we thought this is something we can do that's not going to breach anything. And I think it's just, keep their names out there for at least this season in this way, just to honour them. So thank you, everyone, for hearing me out.
Thank you. So, yes, we thought we'd announce that tonight, just to finish on a bit of a low but high after hearing all the rules. So I would like to open it up now. Thank you for that, Cam. I appreciate you doing that. Actually, before I open it up to questions, I do just want to thank the executive, because we've had a pretty horrendous start to the year. It's been pretty tough for us to get going. So thank you for all the work that you guys have been doing, to Eddie and Chris with the juniors. There's been a lot of work going on in the last week to try and get the 16s and the fast 9s up. So well done to you guys as well. All right. So if there's any questions or want me to go back to any slides and talk over anything, please let us know now, because we may as well go through it and chat through it while we can. You just have to unmute yourself if you would like to.
Liana,
Lee.
Just a quick one in regards to opening of the canteen and that sort of thing. Does that mean we are allowed in the rooms, obviously X amount per rooms and X amount outside, and we'll be able to partake in a refreshing beverage after the game?
Yeah, the important thing to note on that is that, yes, as soon as we are allowed in, we'll be able to open that window and serve beers out of it. So
right. I was more worried about the food, but yeah, if you want to have beer, that's fine.
There's
I need a chicken roll from Cam.
yeah, so it'll all be outside to start with.
Yep.
So it'll be out the front. It won't be inside. Like I said, it'll be avoid being inside where possible. So it's not like you can take the whole team in and have a chat before the match. That will all be done outside.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
Most people can hear my speeches anyway.
a place to store your bags, and that'll be it. So
Yep.
it may change as the weeks progress, but it's really just, you know, somewhere to safely or securely store the bags rather than leaving them all out,
Yep.
which is what's going to happen this weekend.
That's all right. At least I suppose next weekend everyone can look forward to at least being able to have a beer. That's all.
Fingers crossed. We've got to make sure all the fridges work and plug them all back in. So
Oh well, quick sticks. Don't know what you're doing in this meeting. Off you go.
I'll wait till the footy club move out there.
Oh well, just put this stuff in the gutter.
So, Leanna, if you're the home team,
Yes.
are you, as a captain, are you responsible for making sure spectators have checked in and all that? Or where's the onus? That's the difficult part.
Look, you will be, and your COVID person in your team responsible for making sure that all the players are checked in. You're not responsible for someone that's sitting on the other side of the oval, or if they're in their car or whatever. You know, we'll make the signage available so people can check in. You know, if we know them and they come near us, ask them to check in, but we don't have to, you know, have our phone on the field and make sure everyone's checked in all of the time. It's something that we should be mindful of, and we need to just educate the spectators that that it is a requirement to do it, but you're not going to have to go around and tick everyone off and be watching the whole time.
And there's no instruction on the COVID Safe app at all that telling us we have to or haven't on that? You know, the COVID Safe app, the other app that was brought out originally about social to pick up if you're to help with contract tracing. Do you remember that app that was brought out?
Yeah.
The government? Yeah.
I think that's sort of gone away.
There's nothing to do. Okay. Yep.
They don't talk about that much anymore for a reason. I think they wasted enough millions of dollars in that didn't work. So I think that's just gone now.
Okay.
Just in respect to our 4 members that we've named the 11s, will we be wearing black armbands on Saturday?
Yes, we will.
Yeah, Cam did mention that. Yep.
Just one black armband or 4?
We're trying to work that out at the moment. It's obviously a horrible place to be.
How big are your arms?
You know, we've got a whole arm.
Yeah, I know.
You know, we want to give them as much respect as we can as well.
Or do we do it for the first 4 weeks? Wear one for the first 4 weeks.
Or what we could do is obviously with the black armbands is if someone gets like a marker with the initials of every person and writes it down. It's a thought.
Rider on the one armband. Yep.
Yeah.
I like that.
Bad idea. Good work,
Yeah.
Daniel.
Good idea, Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only taken you 5 years, Danny. Good work.
Shut up, idiot.
Just with the regards to the home, when whatever team's playing at Howard Wilson,
Yep.
Are we going to be bringing out like the marquees and that sort of stuff, since obviously teams won't get access to the rooms, and sort of to give them a sort of almost a little hub, I suppose, just i.e. so obviously we'll be go out in the main sort of viewing area, I suppose, with our bags, but the opposition out next to the canteen, are we going to be giving a marquee or something like that, sort of a little bit more cover and to space them out with their seats? And obviously I assume it's expected that the opposition are getting told to bring their own chairs to the ground. We're not supplying chairs, or do we bring chairs out and wipe them down and then it's allowed to be used?
I think that's going to apply this week until we can get in. It's just going to be the one-off. Those 2 green marquees are in the cage, so it would be good to have those just put up just to allow separation. So there's not going to be spectators, and there's only one team on the field or off the field at one time, so they could still sit, you know, in the same section to the left of the canteen.
Oh, well, at the start of the game, everyone will be
together. Yeah.
2 teams walking around and the break and that sort of stuff. It's sort of just your little hub, I suppose, because you know the way teams are, that they'll all sort of corrugate roughly together, but if we've got a space that's more widely, we can sort of
Yeah.
try and
Yep.
The problem, Liam, is
not enforce, but encourage the 1.5 and that sort of stuff.
yeah, but imagine 1.5 between each person, and that you'll fit 4 people in it. You're not going to get many
Yeah, well,
people. But you're not going to with those.
They're 3 metres squared.
Yeah, so imagine 1.5 meter between each people. How many are you going to get in there?
Well, it might be a place
Do
to
the
put with
maths.
that. Yeah, but that's one more person than there's 2 more people than we otherwise would have.
We will be emailing the opposition clubs for both Trinity and Home, just with some extra instructions. So we'll finalise those tomorrow night so that they know what to expect when they arrive, where to find the sanitizer and sign in, and where they should sit. So, you know, they'll go past the canteen. Whatever we decide tomorrow night, we'll make sure you guys are across it as well.
Okay, so you've got to have a little plan sort of almost put together that we can. Okay, beautiful, excellent.
Yeah. And for the
And
most,
then, sorry, I suppose
Yep.
the cheeky question is in regards to sitting around after the game. Obviously, the bar and all that shut down, but it's like even on Saturday, we had a few people bring, you know, an esky and a drink, and even if it's a soft drink, whatever. Are they able to sit on the oval and 1.5 away and have a drink to sort of just like you going with your friends down to the park, like all of Australia's been doing recently?
I get that. Ideally, no, not this week.
Is that no wink, wink, nudge, nudge? The club doesn't want to know about it, or is that?
No, it's let's just try and maintain our separation for just 2 more weeks until the rules change, and let's just try where possible, get in, play, get out.
Okay, so we're pretty big on once the game's finished, just thank you for playing.
Yep.
See you later.
It's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks of 2
Yeah.
painful weeks, and then hopefully after that we'll be all sorted and we won't need to do that.
Yeah.
All right, cheers.
Yeah. Considering how long we went without seeing anyone, I think we get to see some people, and it's, you know, you can't sit around for an hour and do what you want there, but yeah, it's only a couple of more weeks. So, Angus, did you want to say something? You've got your hand raised. Sorry, I didn't see it.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I'm just thinking, I know it just came to my mind when you mentioned that in the country some of the games went till 8. Has the association put forward a position on the time constraints? Like, obviously, normally, if there's lost time, it affects the second team's innings normally, and then it changes, obviously, the way the game can be won or played. And I'm probably, to be honest, thinking more about juniors where if senior games are blown out, God help us with some of the junior games. But have they said, for example, like it used to be in the juniors that you would just say, look, we're not going to get nowhere near the 25 overs. We'll just play 20-20 each, and then you got on with it. Is that, have they, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's the same as, I mean, the thirds and the fours start at 1:30. So if we think that, you know, both teams are happy to start at 1 to start it early, you know, it's about the teams on the day deciding how best they can finish the game, you know, in the most efficient way, making sure everyone has the same opportunity. So, yeah.
Yeah, as long as they've made a statement on it, because I know how people get, obviously, get competitive. Someone wants to play by what the rules are, and it's going to ruin it.
Yeah.
They've actually changed the slow over rate at the meeting last night. There's actually a rule where they've changed the wording. The rationale is to include the slow over rate to extend it past the time. I'll send it through to you, Gus.
Sorry, in regards to that, have they thought about starting games at 12:30 then? With all this extra time going on, has that been proposed at all to the?
It may only be these 2 weeks that the amount of cleaning and the every 10 overs and stuff, this is going to ease over time. It's not going to be this strict for the whole season. So, you know, it may just be these 2 weeks where, you know, you're playing 80 overs and you have to break 8 times during the match as well as having a innings break. So it might be 20 overs after that. So it's halved and it'll just get quicker. But, you know, light's not really going to come into it because we're starting 6 weeks later.
Yep, they also need to change in between the juniors, Saturday juniors, and then Saturday seniors. There needs to be a gap in between there for sanitising.
Yeah, for cleaning everything. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, absolutely. Sorry, that's a very valid point.
Perhaps.
Jono?
No, I was abusing New South Wales.
Okay. I might mute you while you do that then.
Maybe didn't
I
hear it.
think it's, I think it's got merit to also to, bowl 10 overs from one end. The umpires can still change after each over. They can cross over, but,
Yep.
you can save quite a bit of time by doing that. That will offset the, and then after 10 overs, obviously you just run off and you start the next 10 overs from the other end.
Yep.
That was also discussed.
Is that
last
something
night.
that
We had a meeting
I think-
last night.
I think that's a
association
common
meeting.
sense thing that could probably be done, just decided on the day between the two sides, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was discussed at the meeting last night, and they did advise that's a good way to go because it was in the lower grades because they're starting at 1 o'clock. They're saying they're going too late, and they did advise bowl 5 in a row from one end, and the other end it saves a heap of time.
Yeah.
Because we see it, the vets do it to get their games over.
Are we able to recommend that in games with an umpire if both captains come to an agreement? Or is it basically the umpire's decision?
I think you could recommend it. I think it's common sense, Bluey.
Yeah.
Yep, excellent.
You'll find that.
Quite bad news, so you don't have an umpire this week anyway, so you can have common sense in the other captain.
Not with
There
these
goes the common
Spurs.
sense.
I wouldn't have thought that happened with these Spurs.
Good. All right.
Sorry, that's just
Yes.
prompted me, Liana.
Yes.
In that situation that Trev's just mentioned, obviously we've had, if you're on the ground playing, you don't have your mask on, but if you're the player that comes on from the opposition team to umpire, would you be putting it back on?
You do, yep,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, no worries.
Anyone not batting, bowling, or fielding on the ground to wear a mask.
Yep, very good.
Good.
Well done, Liana. All good.
Good. All right. Well, Cam will email this around. So if there's any other questions, we can have a quick catch up tomorrow night. Each team, sorry, I should also say that each team will have a kit. So the COVID officer will be responsible for a box that will contain wipes, spray, attendance register, the QR codes for when you're playing at Trinity. So pens, all of that sort of stuff will be in there so that you've got it all in one spot. There'll be a list of contents in there so you can make sure it's full once during the week before the next game, because we do have refills for the sanitizers and stuff like that. So once a bottle is empty, don't just chuck it. We can refill everything that we've got. So just let us know.
Sanitize it first.
Yes.
So when it comes to scoring and then writing in the scorer's book, obviously between captains at the end to sign off and the umpire, and is it just a matter of sanitize down the pen and we're all fine? And that's sort of, obviously you want to limit the amount of people who score during a game, so sort of one or two, depending on what you have. But then is it just a matter of sanitize the pen and your space at the table of whoever was scoring there, and then that's fine to be changed over? Or is it only one person can touch the book for the day or something like that?
No. You just sanitize between. So yeah, the pen every time. There'll be wipes. So I don't know that they say wipe down the scorebook, but just clean as much as you can before the next person steps in, and they sanitize their hands before they sit down. And
Excellent, thank you.
your discretion. Cool.
Quick question, sorry, Liana. Just one. Merchandise for tomorrow night. Are we going to be able to purchase merchandise tomorrow night?
Not really. If you want to let me know what you want, we can try and see where it is. But given that we're not in the rooms yet, everything's still in the cage, it's going to be very difficult, and we don't have square and stuff like that to be able to just do that and get it out. So if you want to send through an indication of what you want, we can let you know if it is there, if we've got it, and we can do it that way. if that's okay, just until we're in a little bit. I know that people are going to need closing for this week, so hopefully people can be proactive and shoot us through that detail so that we can be prepared.
Yep. Sure.
Sorry, Jack, I did get your email today and I did forget to respond.
That's
I just
all right,
remembered
mate.
just then
That's
when you
fine.
said that.
That's fine.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Well, if nobody else has any questions, we'll call it a night.
All good. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you all
Thank you.
for coming.
Bye.
Thank you, all your juniors, seniors, everybody.
Thank you.
See a lot of you tomorrow night.
Thanks
Thanks,
all.
Fiona.
You can just
Go Queensland.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.